All right. We have done a couple of different kinds of factoring. This camera is not very good at all. Try my best. So, when we first started factoring, we did something like this. X, Y. And when I asked you to factor that, the first kind of factoring we did was looking for something common. Well, do these have anything in common? Yes, right? They have an X in common. So we took that common factor and wrote it out front, and then inside parentheses, we wrote what was left. Well, if I take an X out of this, what's left? If I take an X out of this one? And remember, if you wanted to check these, you could always multiply, gives you XY, and multiply, gives you 3x. Because that's what factors are, aren't they? If I ask you, what are the factors of 12? Well, 3 and 4, for instance. And if you multiply those two factors, you get back what you started with. So if you want to check your factors ever, multiply them. Multiply. And you should get back what you started. So if I ask you to factor something like this, 6x plus 2, what do these have in common? Doesn't have to be just a letter, it could be a number. What factor goes into both of those? Right, 2. 2 times what is 6? And then you have the x. 2 times what is 2? Yeah, you have to put the 1 there so that when you multiply it out, you get back what you started with. Do you remember that kind of factoring? And then we also did this kind of factoring. X squared plus 7x plus 10. Where if we try to do this, if we try to look for something that's common, if you try to look for something that's in common, there's a little problem, right? There's nothing. There's nothing in common. So that's when we did the binomial kind of factoring. Sleeping Beauty. Morning, sunshine. Not Sleeping Beauty? Just resting your eyes for a minute. So nothing in common, that's where we had to do the binomial. What times what gives you x squared? X times x. What times what gives you 10? Well, it could be 1 and 10, could be 2 and 5. I need the combination that would add to 7. 2 and 5. 2 and 5. And what about the signs? By now you probably should be able to tell me the signs without me prompting you. Plus, plus, or minus, minus. Plus, plus. Right? And then you do the inside, outside, double check. 2x, 5x. Add them together, and that should give you this thing in the middle. So hopefully by now you're fairly good at doing both of these. Here's what today's is. You already know how to do today's. It's this and this. It's 2x squared plus 14x plus 20. Remember how we said you should always look for something in common first? should always look for something in common first. You should always look for something in common first. What do these all have in common? What number goes into all of those? 2, right? 2. Take it out. Take out that factor of 2 right off the bat. What do you have now? X squared. 2 times what is 14? 7. 2 times what is 20? 10. Once you do that, now guess what we're going to do? That thing that's left in the parentheses, it probably is able to be factored. We know it's able to be factored. We just did that one. X squared, x times x, 10, could be 1 and 10, could be 2 and 5. I need the combination that adds to 7. What combination adds to 7? You just told me 2 and 5. It's a positive, so either positive times positive or negative times negative. Positive times positive. And we just did the inside-outside double check, so I'll spare you. So your whole answer then is this thing right here. You have what we have been working on, but in addition you have this 2 out front because there's a 2 common to both of those. All of those, I should say. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Questions so far? Sorry, they're probably getting sick. Sorry, you guys. Oh, I really don't like that. That camera's bad. That's my laptop too. So let's do a couple more just for fun. Let's do a couple more just for fun. Let's do a couple. Anything common to those? How many A's? I have 3, 4, and 2. What's the most I could take out? Because you want to take out the most. This one has 3, this one has 4, this one has 2. How many could I take out at most? 2, right? Because this one only has the 2 of them. So I'm going to take out an A squared. What about the B? 2, 1, 3. They have B's in common, but how many? Can you just show me with the finger if you don't want to talk? 1? 1? No, you can't use that finger. 1? What about a number? Is there a number that 5, 3, and 2 all have in common as a factor? No. So you can't take out a number in this case, but you can take out an A squared and a B. So let's see what's left. Obviously a 5. I had 3 A's and I took 2 out, so 1 left. I had 2 B's, I took 1 out, so 1 left. 3. 4 A's, I took 2 out, so 2 left. B, took 1 out, none left. 2 A's, took 2 out, none left. I had 3 B's and I took only 1 out, so how many are left? That's what we have so far after we take out the a squared b. Now, this thing, we're going to see if we can factor that. You know, when we try to factor, they usually start with an x squared, or an a squared, or an m squared, or a u squared, or a v squared. Does ours start with something squared? No. So one of two things, we can either leave it or we can rearrange the terms. What do you think we should do? Leave it or rearrange? Okay, why don't we rearrange? See that? That's a square one. Can I put that first? Well, does the order matter here? 2 plus 3, 3 plus 2. Does order matter? If I add 2 plus 3, if I add 2 plus 3, I get the same thing as if I add 3 plus 2, right? So all I'm going to do is switch around the order. It's adding, so it doesn't matter. Put that one first. And then now I wonder, now I've got the a squared first. Oh boy. A squared first, and it's 3a squared. So it's got to be 3a and 1a, doesn't it? And down here, it's 2v squared. It's got to be 2 and 1. But you have to be careful. You want the combination that will subtract to 5. Subtract, not add. You want it to subtract to 5. So where should I put them? What should I put where? 1b, 2b. Try that. What does that give me? 6ab. What does that give me? 1ab. Does that subtract to 5? Yes. Sign, it's negative down here, so that means I have to have one of each, a positive and a negative. The bigger combination has to be positive. 6ab is the bigger combination. That has to be the positive. So that one would have to be the negative. So what goes right here then? And this one would have to be the negative to make it negative 1ab. Right? BA, AB, same thing. Does that make sense? It's really just two things you already should know how to do. It's taking out the common factor and then using the 2 parenthesis binomial factoring after that. This one they tried to trick you though. You had to rearrange the order a little bit. Tricky. How about, should we do one more just for fun? Wonder why I have some of these circled and crossed off. Do you want to see one more, or do you think you get it? You want to see one more? Do you think you get it? So you won't see one more? Just for fun. Just for fun. Oh, come on, just for fun. How about, let's make it, anything go into all of those? Are you breathing? Are we breathing? That's a good sign. Oh, wait, maybe not. Oh, yep. I wasn't sure about the breathing part. What goes into all of those? You can hold up fingers if you'd like, if you're afraid to talk. 6. Who said that? Oh, thank you. 6. 6 goes into all of those. So take it out. 6 times what? It's 1x squared. 6 times what is 18? 3, I hope. 6 times what is 12? 2. So first you're going to take out the 6 because they all have a 6 in common. And you should actually get in the habit of looking to see if anything's in common to all of those. Because you could factor this, but it's a lot easier to factor the bottom one, right? So once you take out the 6, now we're going to try to factor this thing. X and X. And look, down on the end, I don't have any other choice. It's got to be 1 and 2. It's got to be 1y and 2y. This one, there's not much choice. The combination has to add the 3, does it? That's a 1xy. And by the way, yx, xy, it doesn't matter what order those are in, right? X, y, and y. I like to just go in alphabetical order. And what do you get here? 2xy. Do those add up to 3? Yes. How about signs? Signs, it's positive. So either plus, plus, or minus, minus. Plus, plus. So all of this right here, that's your whole answer. The 6 out front plus the rest of that. Are we having fun yet? Are we having fun yet? Do you have questions? Are there any questions? Does anyone have a question? Anyone? Anyone? So I am on page 228, and we shall start with 7. 7 through 9. I don't like 10. I crossed it off. 11. I don't like 12. I crossed off 13 and 14. 15. Change the order. There's your hint. Change the order. 15. Oh, look at that. 19. 20. I don't like the rest of those. For sure not 21 and 22. We'll try 23. I think that's enough. 7, 8, 9, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's good. Okay, that's good. Because each problem is like 2 of the other ones, right? We'll try those. That's good. That's good. Can you guys see that? And we're all